Let's get into Krillin now. The first change is to his standing unique attack. Previously, it was 8-frame startup, but if you held forward, it didn't change anything. So at full screen, it was 30 frames. And again, with the forward input, I mean, it would hit a frame earlier, but that's because you take a step forward here. And of course, if you just, fired it out and then changed the trajectory, the next input, both key blasts were affected pretty much the same. Now, you could actually modify the behavior of Krillin's 5S key blast by holding forward during the input. At point-blank range, this doesn't really do a whole lot, as you get 8-frame startup. However, at full screen, remember, this would be a bit of a slow key blast at 30-frame startup, but now, you can see that the first key blast actually moves faster than the second one, connecting at frame 23, just giving him a little bit of a better zoning option, but there's also some combo potential here to look at. So, and you'll also notice that when you do this, and then you do the additional input, you get this behavior, where the second key blast will continue to go forward, but the second one will fly upwards. I mean, we're getting into some crazy key blast shenanigans with Krillin now, as if he needed that. The next change is to Krillin's crouching unique attack. It used to be 17-frame startup, and it didn't really have any Gatling options in other normals. J2H didn't work, JH didn't work, and you didn't Gatling into jump S, but you could still, combo into it by virtue of how fast the move is. But that was pretty much it. Kind of a weird thing to be excluded from the previous patch where a bunch of things got these new key blast into heavy Gatling options. Additionally, with the 17-frame startup, it meant that comboing into this option could be a little difficult. Just as an example, we'll compare it in the new patch. Crouching 2S is now faster. Instead of 17-frame startup, it's now 9-frame startup. This is a pretty big boon in terms of using it. Since now you can actually combo into this from any 2M conversion, or connection I should say, that you get with Krillin. Additionally, you can now actually Gatling into pretty much all the other air attacks that Krillin has that are Key Blast or Heavy property. So again, this just opens up a whole new world of options for Krillin in terms of his combo routing and possibly even pressure sequences. Though I would be a little dubious on pressure just because we are talking about a key blast here. The opponent could super dash or reflect cancel out of any block stun that these key blasts put him in, but certainly the utility here is going to be in combos. Jumping unique attack also has a couple of changes to it. Previously, you pretty much had a static version of it. You would hit at about frame 8 startup, just like it's done. And of course, you could affect the trajectory of the key blast. But it was always like a static thing. It was always like sort of one thing of behavior. In addition to that, you could not Gatling into a jump to S from this option previously. Much like Krillin's 5S changes that we discussed earlier, Jump 5S now has some similar changes where you can fire it normally and then make both of these key blasts go downwards, or you can press forward to speed up the first key blast. And if you do this forward input and then press key blast again to change their behavior, you get this split between the key blasts, which again is going to open up a lot of things for Krillin's combo game. There's also new Gatlings that you can do with this as well. You can pretty much Gatling into anything off of this move, except for jumping down key blast. So those two were possible, but now you can do this. Again, opening up some new options for Krillin to get more damage or new combos overall. And much like the other changes we've been seeing so far, there's also a change to Krillin's jumping down unique attack. Previously, you couldn't Gatling this into his other key blast attack. You could Gatling it into his heavies, but not into his 5S, or his J5S, I should say. And just like how we've been seeing with some of these other key blast normals being able to get new Gatling routes, whereas they were restricted before, Jump Down Special also has a similar change where you can now Gatling it into his Jump S. Just like that. So this opens up some other combo opportunities. Notably, you could still Gatling it as well into his Jump Heavy and his Jump Down Heavy, but that was like a behavior that it had in the previous patch. Now you just have the new opportunity to go into Jump S, which also, is able to Gatling into other moves as well. So Not quite able to do another J2S off of that particular instance, but you know, you could do a jump too heavy right there in case you wanted to. We're going to go ahead now and explore some of the new combo routings that are available to Krillin because of all these changes to these particular normals. Bamki actually also demonstrates some new mid-screen routes that you can do with these changes. So we see that he sets up for the level 3 test, and if you go for cross-up here, you know, we're just sort of establishing a scenario. So cross-up 5H, you get the key blast up. This is all kind of like standard in here into the JM rejump, but now you can actually just link 2S here with the new startup, so this will work now. And then you get all those various little loops. So you get a little bit of like what seems to me a higher damage, easier bit of sauce. So, you know, and from a level 3 situation, we saw that meterlessly, or at least with one bar. That was like a 4.7k combo for Krillin right there. So again, another potent example. And again, referring to Bamki, actually, we can see some new corner combo routing for Krillin as well. The faster 2S into J2S, of course, opening up some of these sequences. And, you know, 4.6 off of a light starter is not too bad at all. I'm curious to see how this stacked up to his old optimals before. And, of course, there's some funny things you can do in mid-screen as well. This clip comes courtesy of one of my friends and Colorado competitors, Bongwater, playing in some online casuals with one of our other friends, Fableheath, actually. So you'll see that thanks to the changes to JS and whatnot, you can do some things like this now with Krillin. So, you know, whiff this with the new Gatling, and then, you know, one key blast is just completely whiffing off to the side, and we're just going back and forth on the staircase. And again, this is a match between friends, so Bongwater, of course, going to throw in a little bit of polite toxicity before he does this absolute insane bait. But that's some things you can do with Krillin. I would advise that you look out to like Krillin Discord servers or Krillin mains for some more optimized tech, because obviously there's some new toys to play with here, but are they better than what Krillin had to begin with is going to be the question that needs answering. Like many other characters, there's been some changes to Krillin's medium auto combo, so let's check it out. Previously, you would do the solar flare attack, and if you just, you know, did the 5MMM input, then Krillin would side swap with an after image for a knockdown. You could prevent this from happening by pressing S. And even then, sometimes it was like, I don't know, I had an issue with it there, but pretty much if you're spamming S during that sequence, you'll stop the follow-up attack from coming out. Now let's take a look at the changes to this medium auto combo. For starters, you're going to see that instead of getting a sliding knockdown, you actually get a ground bounce. And if you got quick enough impulse, you can actually combo off of this now. So while this would burn your slide knockdown, it does mean that in a pinch, you could probably use this for a very easy side swap. Don't know how often that's going to come up at high levels of play, but it's something there to give it some utility, I suppose, especially for like a newer player to the game. I can see some appreciation for that. Let's check out the behavior if you don't do the follow-up. It still kind of looks like the same. So you're kind of be hard-pressed to find anything without using an assist here. Right, a faster assist would connect there, so thanks Kid Buu A assist. But that's sort of like the general idea, is that you can actually use it to get a side swap with the full after image follow-up. His Destructo Disk super also has a change to it. Previously, it was 14 frame startup at point blank. Meanwhile, at full screen, it would take about 28 frames to travel across the screen. The startup on Destructo Disk has been reduced by 4 frames. So instead of hitting at frame 14, it now hits at frame 10. Additionally, this also means that it travels across the screen faster. Hitting at frame 24 or 25 instead of frame 28. So this might mean that there might be some neutral implications for Krillin here, where he could get some punishes against like a special move where he couldn't before if you react to something with the level 1 super. It also could mean that there might be some combos or some knockdowns that didn't work before to combo, and now that they do work thanks to the faster startup, or some DHC timings are going to be a bit different. You're going to have to look for some more specific examples out there as you kind of brush up on your Krillin tech. The last change to talk about with Krillin is to his C assist, of all things. So previously, the assist would behave like this. A jump scare, 25 frame startup assist with 24 frames of block stun. The hit stop when the opponent blocks the C assist has been increased, and because of that, there's actually more block stun and frame advantage that you are able to get from this assist. So instead of being plus 24 on block, it's now plus 34, making it just a little better as a lockdown assist. I still think it's kind of hard to justify running this assist just because A assist is still so good, and the fact that A assist hasn't been like touched at all in terms of what we thought was a bug where, you know, they made it so that, you know, Krillin can give you a bar meter, but if you have another character out, then you get an additional bar meter for your assist also absorbing that bean. That's still a feature in the game, and I thought that would have been dealt with, but no. We've had this patch, we've had a bug fix patch. That's just a feature that's here to stay, and that is still some toxic crap I don't agree with. Pretty much everything that Krillin has received here is a buff that gives him new creative combo options and might be able to streamline a couple of other instances. There's definitely a few changes I feel like are only going to affect lower levels of play with the game, like the medium auto combo change, but maybe there's some utility I haven't actually been able to foresee with that could have some high-level implications to his game plan. I think the most important thing to note here for Krillin is that there's pretty much no nerfs to any part of his kit. I just ranted about the Zenzu Bean remaining as it is in this patch, where it's still giving meter, it's still giving meter to your point character and for your assist character if both of those pick them up at the same time. So you have 2 bars on demand at any given moment when you run his A assist or when you just throw out the Zenzu Bean with Krillin. And in addition to that, he still does high damage, still does crazy bar builds, still has crazy mix-ups. EX after image is still a 4-frame reversal. Like, there's a bunch of things about Krillin that I want to nerf that still haven't been nerfed. And I mean, maybe he needs them, maybe he doesn't. Maybe there's some counterplay I need to be exploring to settle my own personal grudges with the character. But I think that, you know, at this point, Krillin is like a top 10 character, probably. Krillin is like a very dangerous, very powerful, strong anchor character in this patch, I think. And I mean, I think it's hard to justify a lot of other cast members being stronger than him when I consider him to be one of the best anchors in the previous patch. And he's strictly better with these changes to him. So there's that for you. Krillin, he's the GOAT. He's just unnerfable. Bandai refuses to do it. Bean Daddy is here to stay.